Sen another song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 539. It's Tuesday, July 23rd, 2013, 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. Plus, we bring you the segment News Random with a couple stories, chockablock full of fantastic health tips to help you live an amazing life.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I find that my friends aren't very helpful when it comes to advice about my ex-wife.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
You see, I'm probably one of the most empathetic people when it comes to being your friend, and when you tell me about all the problems in your life, and then all of a sudden I try to tell them problems about me getting along without my ex-wife, and they tell me, like, nothing helpful at all. This is why psychologists make so much money and they vacation in New England in the fall. I also took Basil walking today in Oakland, and oh my gosh.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The recently opened Lake Merritt Park is now full of graffiti already, and I like to eat lavash.
Mike's
What's the deal with
Daily
people in Oakland
Podcast.
being so scared of a boxer?
Yeah!
I'm walking down the pathway with my boxer, and people are like, ugh. I saw this one gal, probably in her early 30s, and Basil and I are walking along. Basil has jowls. If you have not seen pictures of him, there's pictures of him on the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. He's got jowls. He's a jowly boxer. And he sometimes drools a little bit, gets a little bit of drool on that. And, okay, some people, I guess, are really squeamish because this lady in her early 30s is walking by and she has the most disgusted look on her face as she's walking by. Like, come on, lady, it's a dog. God, he's not going to kill you with the germs from his drool. Unless you are planning on somehow ingesting said drool, which I hopefully don't think you are. I've been a boxer owner for 3.5 years. That idea has still not occurred to me yet, except just now on this podcast. Oh, look who just walked in. Hello, Michael Matthews. This is Madame Rootabega. Madam, why do you have to do that every time you say your name?
Because I think my name is beautiful, and I like to say.
Uh-huh. Are you empathetic with your friends when your friends have problems? Do you listen to them, or do you contradict everything they say and go, you may feel bad, but you deserve to feel bad because you are fat? Do you say those kind of things?
No, Michael Matthew, and I am not afraid of dog drool. In fact, Michael Matthew, Basil the boxer's drool is magical.
No, honestly, I don't think it is.
Yes, Michael Matthew, it is. That is why I must collect some in a little vial.
In a what?
In a little vial.
In a little vial?
Yes, Michael Matthew, and I must sell it in the gift shop in my little Madame Rootabega nook.
You have a little nook?
Yes, Michael Matthew, would you like to have a little nookie?
No, that's okay. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Guys, wait, first, Basil has something to say. Okay, he's done. Guys, do you guys eat breakfast? Do you guys?
Yeah, Mike, we eat breakfast all the time, day.
Yeah, we like to eat various cereals that are overpriced. Do you know that?
Well, this is a fascinating story in usatoday.com. Another reason to eat breakfast, skipping it may increase your chances of a heart attack. Oh, by the way, on today's show, there's going to be a lot of advice on how to not die. So this will be a very helpful show, so make sure to listen all the way to the end. A study of older men found those who regularly skip breakfast had a 27% higher risk of a heart attack than those who ate a morning meal. There's no reason why the results wouldn't apply to other people too, according to the Harvard researchers that conducted this research. Other studies have suggested a link between breakfast and obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and other health problems seen as precursors to health and heart problems. But no studies looked at long-term risk of heart attack. Why would skipping breakfast be a heart attack risk? Experts aren't certain, but here's what they think. People who don't eat breakfast are more likely to be hungrier later in the day and thus eat larger meals.
Michael Massio.
Madame Rootabega.
Are you guys gonna make out right now?
No, we most certainly aren't, madam.
Not if you don't want to.
Let me continue the story. Those meals that people eat later in the day that are larger because they skip breakfast, those meals mean the body must process a larger amount of calories in a shorter amount of time. That can spike sugar levels in the blood and perhaps lead to clogged arteries. But is a stack of syrupy pancakes, greasy eggs, and a lot of bacon really better than eating nothing?
I would say yes. Do you know that?
A lot of people would. Researchers did not ask what the study participants ate for breakfast and were not prepared to pass judgment on whether a fatty, sugary breakfast is better than no breakfast at all. Other experts agreed that it's hard to say. One person said, we don't know whether it's the timing or content of breakfast that is important. It's probably both. Generally, people who eat breakfast tend to eat a healthier diet, said another.
Wow, Mike, I found that story very helpful, and now I will not die.
No, you will, but as many as 18% of U.S. adults regularly skip breakfast, according to federal estimates. 18%. Tennis star dropped by Catholic youth group after ESPN body issue pics. What? Oh, I just got sidetracked by a picture of a nude Agnieszka Radwanska picture. Well, she's nude but covered in the strategic places. But she's by a pool full of tennis balls. Perhaps you've seen this picture.
Let me see that picture,
Yeah, let's see it. Wow. Do you know that?
Yeah. So what do you think about this whole missing breakfast? I used to skip breakfast all the time, and I agree. I would eat a much bigger lunch. And it's good to be more consistent, whatever that word is, throughout the day. So you let me know what you think about that story. Mike'sDailyPodcast@gmail.com. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show. We have an opening for you if you'd like to sponsor the show. Mike'sDailyPodcast@gmail.com. And we read your comments about things such as skipping breakfast and being more prone to getting heart attacks because you skip breakfast. We read your comments on the section Emails for Me-mail that we do on the show here. And check out the website. Tell your friends, too, about the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. Tell your enemies about this website, too. That is everything that has to do with this show. We tell you about what the show's got on it, and we have the blog, we have the daily podcast picture, plus links to where to listen to the show in iTunes and Spreaker.com, SoundCloud, Twitter, Yelp, YouTube, and Facebook. And if you subscribe to the show in iTunes, you get the show right away. So get that link. Go there right now at mikesdailypodcast.com. Rate the show and comment on the show in iTunes as well. mikesdailypodcast.com. Yes, the Amazon deal of the day is there too. If you click on that and buy something, we see a little bit of money. It's not enough money to buy breakfast with, but it's still a nice thing to do if you do that.
News Random.
Here are some news random stories about things you should know to make your life so much better. Some stories about health. The words radiation exposure bring images of Fukushima, Chernobyl, and Cold War-era mushroom clouds. But those words also apply to going for a CT scan and talking on a cell phone and sometimes simply going into your basement. We are all constantly bathed in a sea of low-level radiation. Some sources pose a cancer risk that is generally accepted. For others, it is a point of controversy. According to Energy Times and their article, Our Irradiated Lives by Lisa James, you should Measure your risk. Electromagnetic energy covers a spectrum that includes both ionizing radiation, the type that can disrupt atoms, including those living in living tissue, and non-ionizing radiation. The second category includes radio frequency waves, the kind that power cell phones and microwaves, along with electrical current that powers your house. Some radiation comes from natural sources, the Earth, the Sun, and outer space. How much radiation is dangerous? What determines your overall cancer risk from radiation is your exposure over time and with lower levels of exposure. Smoking is one known factor that adds to radiation risk, especially that posed by naturally occurring radon gas. Another is genetics. Perhaps 5% of the population is definitely more sensitive than most. Age also makes a difference. Children are more vulnerable to radiation's effects than adults. Radiation exposure has doubled over the past 2 decades, and that increase has come from medical imaging. 1, we're using many more tests, especially CT scans. 2, the dose per test has gone up. Reduction means reducing the number of tests or reducing the dose per test. A single CT scan of the abdomen delivers the same amount of radiation as 1,500 dental x-rays. So what should you do? Keep records of your medical visits, including scans and imaging procedures. If your doctor recommends a CT, you should ask, why am I having this test? Is this going to help me? As we've mentioned in a previous podcast about how you should ask your doctor many questions. It is their job to answer those questions. This is especially true when children are being scanned. You should be inquiring as to why they're being scanned. And we get radiation from cell phones. There are more cell phones, laptops, and other wireless devices in the U.S. than the country's population of 315 million. Most investigations into cell phone usage have found no ill effects, but many studies into a possible linkage between cell phones and brain cancer looked at people who had used them for less than 10 years and defined heavy use as 30 minutes a day. However, people are now using cell phones for thousands of minutes a month. A September 2012 pathophysiology study found an increase in glioma, a type of malignant brain tumor in people who started using cell phones before age 20 and had used them for at least 10 years. So what you should do is use corded landlines whenever possible. Yeah, those things. Remember those things? Keep cell phones away from your head by using a speakerphone or other hands-free devices. Those little cords, for example, like you use for listening to the music, the headphones, the earbuds. Thank you. And don't have your cell phone in your pocket. Don't use these devices in weak signal areas, which causes them to work harder. Don't let children use them excessively. Pregnant women and men who want to become fathers should use wireless devices with caution. They say radio frequency waves have been found to damage sperm. Broccoli has compounds in it that can repair damage from lots of things, including cell phone radiation. That's good to know. Eat your broccoli. Before the country was covered in cell phone towers, however, it was strung together with high-voltage power lines, which has also raised cancer concerns. A French study found a link between living within 55 yards of a high-voltage line and leukemia in children. Previous studies found mixed results. Conflicting conclusions have come from studies of high-voltage exposure and adult cancer. A broad spectrum of health concerns, known collectively as electromagnetic hypersensitivity, surround exposure to lower power levels. Symptoms reported include fatigue, headache, muscle aches, skin problems, and sleep disturbances. While some studies have found no effect, others have found brainwave changes in response to low power electromagnetic fields. So to avoid this, you should avoid living under high voltage lines, if possible. A little more difficult to do when you live in a crowded area like here in the Bay Area. Also, remove powerful electromagnetic emitters such as electric blankets, microwave ovens, and dimmer and timer switches. Don't have an electric blanket, but I kind of need my microwave. Don't have any dimmers or timer switches in my house, though. Also, it suggests here unplugging appliances and electronic items when not in use. Yes, that would be a bit difficult to remember to do and kind of annoying. It also says keep alarm clocks, unless battery operated, and TVs at least 8 feet from your bed. And as for cell phones, don't even keep them in your bedroom. Yeah. You know, I don't know if I can follow that advice, but then there's radon. The most significant source of natural background radiation is radon. Yes, natural radiation, a gas given off by radioactive elements in the soil. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates that radon, which tends to accumulate in basements, causes about 21,000 lung cancer deaths in the U.S. every year. Differences in rock formations cause variations in radon levels across the country, with the highest generally found in the mountainous western states. But there are many exceptions, such as the Reading Prong, which stretches from eastern Pennsylvania through northern New Jersey, southern New York, and into Connecticut. So you should have a radon test, which actually a lot of states now have mandatory radon tests before you purchase your house. I have purchased houses in 2 states, Alabama and California, and I had to do radon tests for both of them. Radiation and air travel. Flying increases exposure to cosmic rays from space, the other major source of natural radiation. Most cosmic rays enter the Earth's atmosphere at higher elevations where the air is thinnest, and at the poles where the planet's magnetic field is the weakest. On the ground, there are the scanners at the airport security checkpoints that use 2 different forms of radiation. The cylindrical millimeter wave machines use low-power RF radio frequency beams to look for suspicious items. The blue box X-ray backscatter devices create a surface picture of the body using low-intensity X-rays. Radiation from each backscatter scan equals up to 3 minutes of in-flight exposure, leading to estimates of 100 radiation-induced cancers for every 1 billion scans. In January, the Transportation Security Administration pulled these devices from U.S. airports because of privacy concerns about the revealing body pictures they yield. Although a new contract has gone to a company that uses backscatter technology, no known health risks are associated with the millimeter wave machines. If you're concerned about going through any kind of scanner, get to the airport early and request a manual pat-down. The EPA says there are no practical ways to shield yourself against cosmic rays. So you can avoid cancer by avoiding electric blankets, and you can also avoid cancer by eating plants. Plants against cancer. Produce packs a powerful punch in the fight against cancer, according to Beverly Burmeyer and the Energy Times, talking about the various plants and how they can help you fight cancer. Consuming phytonutrient-rich foods on a regular basis is believed to block carcinogens and suppress malignant cell growth. Plants also contain antioxidants, which fight the free radicals that can damage DNA and other cellular structures. Antioxidants help protect against damage that happens every day as part of normal metabolism, damage that is linked with increased cancer risk. The American Cancer Society recommends eating at least 2.5 cups of vegetables and fruits each day. And try some broccoli. As was mentioned earlier, this may be the best cancer-fighting advice your mother gave you. The most popular member of the same crucifer family, that includes cauliflower, kale, turnips, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage. Broccoli is loaded with folate, fiber, and antioxidants that have been found to defend the body against colorectal cancer. Broccoli has been shown to suppress Helicobacter pylori, a common bacterial infection that's a major cause of stomach cancer. Research also shows that indole 3-carnitol, a compound found in broccoli and related vegetables, may protect against cancers of the gastrointestinal and respiratory tracts. And it may help ward off skin and breast malignancies, too. Then there's berries. They have ellagic acid in them, which can help protect against breast, skin, bladder, esophageal, and lung cancers. Berries are also full of antioxidants, flavonoids, and vitamins that neutralize free radicals to help prevent cell damage associated with cancer. And the vitamin C they contain boosts your immune system. You should also look for dark leafy greens. They have been linked to reduced risk of colorectal cancer. Among the best of the green stuff is spinach. It powers up your body with fiber, folate, and antioxidants, which protects against cancers of the oral cavity and throat. Mustard greens and Swiss chard are also packed with nutrients that inhibit cancer cell and tumor growth. Of course, there's also apples. The apple peel contains quercetin, a major dietary flavonoid that protects cells' DNA from damage that could lead to mouth, colon, lung, and possible breast cancer. Onions are also high in quercetin, which has been found to be especially potent against squamous cell carcinoma or skin cancer. And anti-inflammatory quercetin also boosts the immune system. You can also try whole grain pizza. Tomato soup, pizza, and spaghetti sauces are prime sources of lycopene, an antioxidant that reduces risk of prostate cancer. Although fresh is best for many vegetables, the greatest protective effect comes from cooked tomatoes, since heat unleashes more of the lycopene. Carrots, pink grapefruit, and watermelon also contain lycopene. Bright orange produce also helps, like pumpkin, squash, carrots, papayas, sweet potatoes. They all pack a punch with carotenoids, cancer-fighting nutrients linked to prevention of colon, prostate, breast, and lung cancer. Vitamin C in oranges and other citrus fruits enhances the immune system and neutralizes cancer-causing chemicals that could form in the body. Orange juice and other juices are high on the sugar scale, however, so enjoy your citrus in whole fruit form. If you like nuts, well, nuts and seeds are great sources of fiber, vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant. Flax and chia seeds, along with walnuts, are excellent sources of omega-3 fatty acids, which help prevent the low-level inflammation linked to cancer development. And then there's green tea, known for its heart protective qualities. Green tea, especially a key component called EGCG, I think I've been to that club, has shown an ability to defend against cancer as well. Green tea helps modify how the body uses estrogen, which plays a key role in breast cancer development. Studies have found green tea to fight prostate cancer and other hormone-related malignancy through a variety of mechanisms. In addition, green teas may be useful against certain kinds of blood cancers. So while we are leading the fight against our cells mutating, we also need to think about our minds. And Milton Erickson, the father of modern hypnosis, once said, "If the conscious mind could have figured it out, it would have. Since it has not, we need to go to the subconscious." And this article by Raina Dan about how we hypnotize ourselves, I found in the ConnectionMagazineOnline.com. She says, "Awakening from our subconscious programming allows us to open more fully to the magnificence of each moment. According to Buddhist psychology, there are two basic states of consciousness: awareness and unawareness, or being awake and being asleep." And Rania brings up how when you hear an old love song, it triggers a flood of memories. What happened was your subconscious memories got triggered. What do? First step is to recognize that you just slipped into a memory. Second step is to ask yourself what memory got triggered. Third step is to choose to be here and now. If you have a difficult time stepping out of the past, you might need to go deeper into the memory. With guided hypnotherapy, you can go into the memory safely to heal it and explore the hidden treasures there. Understanding these two modalities start to give you more choices about how you can experience your life. As you learn about what thoughts and feelings come from your own subconscious programming, you can begin to make positive adjustments for a happier life. She says, watch next time you hypnotize yourself into believing in a memory. Just stop for a moment, take a deep breath and say, "I was believing in the past." As time slows down, space opens up, you're standing in a doorway to a different possibility. Take another deep breath and open to the presence of what is, she says. And she quotes Maya Angelou here, "Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away." And finally, don't you love meetings? Gosh, I used to go to some business meetings in Alabama that first off I couldn't understand what anyone was saying because they were speaking with such thick Alabama accents and using slang and saying the town names in ways that I was like, you really pronounce it like that? Shouldn't it be Lafayette? No? It's Lafayette. Gosh, I had to work on a California learning curve when I was in Alabama. Well, convening with colleagues, and if you're meeting, you should consider these 5 standout strategies from Leadership Coach Amy Jen Sue. This from Spirit Magazine. Yes, that's from the Southwestern Airlines magazine. First off, when you go into a business meeting, know why you're there. Before you walk into the room, think about what you intend to contribute, Sue says. If you undervalue yourself, you end up being passive or not speaking at all. If you overvalue your contributions, you may take up too much time and bulldoze the other people in the meeting. Consider your peers' perspectives. Think about the interests of the people involved and be skillful about how you present ideas to them. If you anticipate pushback, bring up the hot button issues yourself rather than waiting for someone else to do it. This shows that you've already considered opposing points of view. Be aware of your body language. Most of your impact is nonverbal. Posture, eye contact, volume, even the way you take up space. If you sit in the back or off to the side, you can appear unwilling to be involved. Frame your ideas. The way an idea is framed can deem whether or not it's accepted. It's about helping people focus. One technique is to tie what you say to a bigger picture or specific goal. Another is to use an analogy that brings the concept to life. And finally, play verbal tennis. No one likes a talking head, so it's important to avoid monologues. Engage others in a way that resembles tennis play. If the meeting reaches an impasse, a great question can keep things going. Yes, but do use the great question method and not the asking questions at the end of every sentence like the Ben Stein character from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And the Constitution was signed in what year? Anyone? 1776. And the president was George, anyone? Washington. He has a great voice. As we go outside of the last place on earth, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Bueller. For dry eyes.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the picture has to do with why, Bison Bentley, you're in today's picture.
I am? That's great. Do you know that?
Yes, it's a picture of Bison Bentley. It's a drawing with him, and we are discussing cell phone etiquette. We talk about cell phone etiquette from time to time on this show, and we, yes, talk about it again on today's show. And you can see the drawing and the fanciful notions that I get and that I bring to life with ink and paper. Well, it's more like a digital interface drawing pad, but you get the idea.
I can't wait to see myself being rendered in this picture. Do you know that?
Yes, rendered like so much pig fat.
Michael Matthew, I am so sad that some of your friends are so unempathetic.
Yes, madam, it's quite bad. And you know, I'm there for my friend. There's a friend of mine who's in radio, and he's quite upset that there's a very stupid thing going on here in the Bay Area as far as radio goes, where the radio stations will advertise for a job. You send them a resume, and then you find out they didn't even look at the resume because it was just a job posting that they already had someone already lined up, but they have to do a job posting because of the corporate laws. Their company tells them they have to do that, and thus they do it.
Well, Michael Matthew, it's as if you don't even get a chance.
That's right, Madame Rootabega.
It gets me so upset. Ooh!
Yeah, Mike, I feel really bad for your day.
Yeah, I wish I could lift your spirits, Mike, because you feel so sad and blue. Do you know that?
Wow, you guys are really empathetic.
What does that mean again?
Well, tomorrow we'll bring you the segment, Do You Know Dat? Hey, Bison, that's your thing.
Yeah, because I say that a lot. I say the words, do you happen to know what that means? Do you know that?
Yes, so we will listen to that segment tomorrow on tomorrow's show. We will also hear from the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer.
In my little Madame Rootabega nook.
I love that word, nook. There should be some book seller that turns that into a type of iPad thingy.
Mike, I think they already did that.
Did they?
Yeah, there's this bookseller that you can go in the place, like when your spouse or significant other is shopping. You can go in there and sit on one of their chairs and pretend like you're reading a book that you might possibly buy there. And then when you walk in the front door, some big guy, he's usually kind of big, like he eats a lot of calzone. And he looks at you and he says, "Would you like to buy a Nook?" That's what happens there, Mike.
Wow. My world has been enlightened.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!